Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one big sandy city is working to find out how hundreds of dollars went missing from the city. And following the recent cold snap, some people are struggling to keep up with their utility bills.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We're just a few minutes past 5:30 on Wednesday, February 7th. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
And a good Wednesday to you. It's a little cool, but you know what? This is typical for early February. Outside our studios here at WYMT, it is 28 degrees. And as we look at the weather headlines, 60 on Monday, 51 yesterday. We promised that. Guess what? We're back close to 60 again today, as promised as well. Pattern change after another nice day tomorrow. And that starts to happen Friday into Saturday. Temps running above average, though, heading into and through the weekend. Temperatures early this morning, 20s and close to 30 at Harlan and Moorhead. Lower 30s still at Wise and over in Pikeville. Here's your satellite weather composite showing the clouds coming in from the north and west, and that will dim the sunshine a bit like it did yesterday. So we average out to being mostly sunny today, and a forecast high late this afternoon, close to 60. First alert 7-day forecast with the pattern change. Is it a big change? We'll let you know in a few moments. Olivia?
Thank you, Tim. The Elkhorn City is working on recovery after realizing the city has more than $300,000 in debt. The council hosted a special meeting last night to discuss the issues, taking responsibility for not being aware of the financial state of the city. Officials say there was a lot of misappropriation of funds and terrible communication between the council and the clerk. Now they are working with a state auditor to find out how much money they have to work with and where everything went.
It's not pretty, it's not great, and we don't like what's happening, but we do want to get it fixed and get it taken care of and just make sure everybody is accountable for what's going on.
Councilman Mike Stacy says this issue has to fall on the shoulders of the council, not the previous clerk who has since been replaced. A bill to ban the use of cell phones in Kentucky classrooms is moving forward. House Bill 383 would require schools to ban phones in the classroom. It passed unanimously in the House Education Committee. Representative Josh Bray says he got the idea from a teacher having trouble keeping students off their phones. There would be a few exceptions to the ban, including emergencies.
It gives the teacher the support in the classroom because now the administration kind of has to have their back. And it gives the administration support because, they've kind of got to go down this path now.
The bill now heads to the full House for a vote. State police are asking for help finding a Knott County man who went missing. Troopers described 56-year-old Richie Sloan of Litcar as a white man who is 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 150 pounds. Troopers say Sloan has blue eyes with partially gray hair. Officials say Sloan was last seen about 2 months ago walking on Kentucky 160 near his home on Craig Court. If you have any information, you are asked to contact KSP at 606-435-6069. We have an update about a story we first told you about on Monday. Kentucky State Police have released the identity of a person killed in a motorcycle crash in Knott County. 65-year-old Steve Howard of Hazard was riding the motorcycle on Kentucky 160 in the Litcar community when police say a car crossed the center line and hit the motorcycle head on. Howard was taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. In Lawrence County, one person is dead after a crash involving a semi-truck and a car. Troopers say the crash happened on US 23 near the junction of Kentucky 645. The semi was heading south when it struck a car head-on coming from the other direction. Police say the person behind the wheel of the car was killed. The identity of the person killed in the crash has not been released. A Pike County man is behind bars after police say he strangled a child. The incident happened last Saturday when police were called out to a home on Ziegler Drive in Pikeville. Police say 41-year-old Michael Harris strangled a 10-year-old and fired a gun at a car while the mother of the child was trying to get away. When police arrived, they found drugs in Harris' pockets. Harris was taken to the Pike County Detention Center. A Wayne County man is facing charges after police say they found multiple drugs on him. It happened Monday when police were looking for a truck believed to be transporting illegal narcotics. After a traffic stop, police searched the truck. During that search, 3 bags of crystal substance believed to be meth were found, along with several other drugs. Dustin Dodd of Monticello was taken to the Wayne County Detention Center. Some Kentucky Utilities customers are in sticker shock. Last month's cold snap with freezing temperatures caused higher electric bills. Carla Lemix has her latest KU bill. She owes the electric company more than $300, and she's not the only one. She says her neighbors have been hit hard as well and says she wants answers.
I called KU and they tried to blame it on everything from Christmas lights, which we couldn't put up due to hail damage last year, to space heaters, which we don't own, to a water heater, which we replaced 3 months ago.
Kentucky Utilities told our sister station that on January 17th, the electric company peaked at 4,000 megawatts, the highest KU peak load in the last 5 years. Nearly $2 million in federal funding has been approved for the Kentucky National Guard for measures taken after the July 2022 flood here in the mountains. The $1.9 million in funding was approved by FEMA. Kentucky's bourbon industry is booming. That announcement came yesterday as lawmakers from both political parties joined the governor and others for an announcement of record-setting numbers. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more.
They say that it's a success story they never imagined.
And we're coming off some of the biggest, best years this industry has ever seen. When you look at 2022, it wasn't just a good year for bourbon and spirits. It was the best year for growth that this industry has ever seen.
According to a study, bourbon has created a $9 billion economic impact, more than 23,000 jobs, and distillers have produced a record 2.7 million barrels in 2022.
So we've been able to chart that growth now over the last 15 years, and it's a success story that honestly we never thought we'd be here.
The news wasn't so good when the study started in 2009. That's when an alcohol tax resulted in what people call the Frankfurt Bourbon Party. But since then, lawmakers say the course has been reversed and it's been all boom in the bourbon industry.
We've changed the dynamics and the trajectory based on reducing taxes, changing the regulatory system.
Well, in 2009, the rotunda was filled with anger and division. 15 years later, both Republicans and Democrats gathered for the victory lap.
It's going to continue to grow and expand throughout the world. Remember, we got a lot of global markets that we have just barely introduced bourbon to.
House Bill 500, which unleashed an already booming bourbon trend on the world and lifted this industry to heights that people like Elijah Craig and Evan Williams could never possibly have imagined.
Industry is still growing with more than 15 new distilleries currently under construction. In Frankfurt, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Bourbon has also created new markets for farmers across Kentucky, with corn production in core distilling counties increasing 300% since 2009. And still to come, Meta is creating a new feature that will help users to identify AI-generated content.
As we wake up on this Wednesday morning, temps running a little bit cooler than they have the last couple of mornings. Does that mean we're going to run cool when we get to this afternoon as well? We'll let you know. Your first alert 7-day forecasts is coming up right after this.